No, I'm going to take the sounds better than it sounds.
I'll take that too. It's actually kind of funny. We'll go with it.
Yeah, it sounds better than it sounds.
I'm
Thanks,
being
Adrian.
I'm being attacked. Hi, welcome to another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. My name's Adrian,
And I'm Alex.
and today we have a special guest. Special guest, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Dana, also known as the Author Side Online. I'm an online mental health advocate and an author.
Amazing. I just the work that it takes to publish something, I think, blows my mind because I can never feel like this is the end or oh everything's like all up in a bow. Like how do you decide when your piece is finished essentially?
See, even now after it's published, I'm like, I could have done this better, you know? So like you can't have anything that's like perfect at the end of the day. I mean, I'll tell you something that is just I think it's so funny, and my friends are always just like, that's so Dana. But I was editing the day that I published.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I was still editing the day that I published my book.
Is that not
The
like
day that it went out and the day that it was listed online for people to buy it, I was still editing it.
are you currently still editing it?
No. So like I was supposed to basically what happened was I set a deadline for myself because I self-published, right? So I set a deadline for myself of like the 11th of November 2020. Like that's the day I'm gonna publish it then. And 6 a.m. rolls around and I'm preparing to like submit my manuscript at noon. 6 a.m. rolls around and I'm still editing.
Oh boy.
So I keep working on it until I finally submit it at 12. But like it's just the most like my friends are saying it's like the most Xana thing to do. Like they compare it to like when Kanye West was like on his way to an album release party and he like just made the cover or something on the car, like on the way there. Like I don't remember if it was like the album cover or something else, but they always compare me to that, where it's like you're literally doing things last minute and you've been working on this for a year.
You know, I mean, I feel like that's much better than what I do, which is just throw it all
Not
together.
do it.
Throw it all together last minute, not work on it until like it needs to be done. Yeah, I just can't focus sometimes. It's just because the urgency is not there until it's like it's game time. It's do or die. Let's go.
Yeah, that's fair. Honestly, I'm that way with like homework and assignments, like because I'm a junior at college right now, so like I'm the exact same way when it comes to like work and stuff. Like I feel like if I don't have like a pressing deadline, I won't do it because I feel like there has to be some pressure on me to be able to actually do it. It's the weirdest thing ever. And I feel like I do it better like when I'm cutting it close than if I do it like on my own time, which is really weird, but
So all of those feelings are false. What is happening is your brain says, I really like this adrenaline hit. Give me more. And so that's why here's where my expertise comes in.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
fake. Yeah, it's like that rush that you get because you cut something close. It's the same thing as like jumping out of a plane, basically. It's just that like euphoric feeling of, oh, I did the thing before it was actually due, or like right as it was due, and your brain goes, yes, excellent.
I don't know if it's exactly the same as jumping out of a plane, but I'll take it.
It's like that like rush of beating the odds, even though sometimes the odds are things that you put forth in front of you. And I know that's one thing like a lot of people struggle with, especially when they grow into adulthood, of, Adrian's in that sort of middle, I'm not quite a full adult, but I'm not quite in college anymore. So it's that weird, I don't know if that's ever going to change. I don't know how that's going to
I cook
happen.
my own meals sometimes.
Right. As the current podcast elder,
Okay.
it's a lot harder if you don't have that like training in you of being like, I can do this on my own, right? I have this year deadline. I needed to get it in by this day. And then you're working on it up until the time you publish it. Like that's that's where that procrastination comes in. It's a gremlin that just like steals it away and, you know, makes it feel good. But honestly, the stress that is like around it gets masked because you feel so good. But like
Mhm.
the stress is not good for you still. Like that's
Alex,
fine lines and wrinkles and
why is this your expertise, Alex? Tell Dana. Or unless you've already
oh,
talked about it.
our
I was about
listeners.
to say, it sounds like
And
you speak from experience here.
so half of it, yes, is experience of I'm a really great procrastinator, especially having ADHD, that if it's out of sight, it's literally out of mind. Like I don't remember that it exists until
Mhm.
it does and I have to see it. But I also spent a lot of time working with college students. Like I was telling you earlier, I was a tutor for student athletes. Part of
Right.
my tutoring wasn't necessarily tutoring them on subjects because honestly, I'm shit at school, but um, tutoring them on how to keep their life together when we're talking about taking 12 to 16 hours of schoolwork and you're a football player, which is basically another full-time job, and, you know, eating and sleeping constantly. So,
Right.
um, you know, it does take some finesse. It does take usually some time to sit down of like organizing my day or organizing your study schedule and things that you need to get done. And a lot of the time, especially, you know, if you're talking about having any sort of neurodivergence, that's a really hard to have that long-term goal or long-term feeling of being like, oh, I have time. And later comes and you're like, shit, I don't
I
have
don't
enough
have any more
time.
time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So,
I would say it's kind of hard for me as well, but like just because like it's really weird because I feel like sometimes that stress and like the need to like finish like by the deadline like makes me focus on it more and it's like okay, I have to do this thing and makes me better at it. But also sometimes when I cannot be calm under pressure, like there's sometimes where um, not even just for deadlines, but like in general, when I just feel so overwhelmed, like I have so much stuff to do, like so many things that need my attention, I just don't do any of it at all. Like I'm just like this is too overwhelming. I don't even want to start because if I don't start, then I don't have to get through it and finish. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's really weird and like I feel like that's when my dissociation like kind of kicks in a bit more because I feel so overwhelmed that I'm just like okay, it doesn't exist. Like we're not looking at it now. Um so like yeah, my brain, it's funny because like I feel like my brain is very selective with this type of thing. It's like the thing that causes me the most stress and the thing that I need to look at the most. My brain is like, we're not going to look at that right now.
Yeah,
Um,
I got that. Especially like the other way I can associate to, right? If you're not doing class, you're not doing anything that like that, it's like looking at your bank account after you know you've like overspent or like
oh my
you're
God, it makes me
you're
so
getting real
sad.
close. And you're like, if I don't look, it's not a problem, right? It just
It doesn't
the money is
exist.
there. Yeah. I was used to be really, really good at just ignoring that part of it. It's just like, no, if I don't check, then it's fine. But then that like anxiety starts to pent up and wind. And then you're like, okay, no, I have to check. And then half the time it's never as bad as you think it is.
Hmm.
Or the other half, it's like worse than you thought it was. So it's never like a happy medium of like, oh, okay, this is fine. But it's a
Yeah,
like, oh shit, or like, oh, it's fine.
it's fine.
So,
Yeah, I feel like I don't really worry about my bank account that much because I'm not really that much of a spender. Like the one thing I worry about is like my phone bill, making sure that gets paid, you know? And like making sure I get paid on time. Like that's when I'm more concerned about it. But like I mean my dad's supporting me with my education, and I have financial aid for most of it. So I don't really have to worry about much else, especially because like, you know, my me living like room and board is paid for and stuff. So I feel like as like a student being like living on campus and having most of my concerns like squared away is like easier than like being an adult and like living in your own apartment and going to work and stuff.
yeah, stay there forever. Just don't,
I wish, honestly.
don't.
Like I was telling my friends cuz like it would be so much more fun if we could just like spend like a week or two on campus, like no COVID, no classes and just fuck around the whole time and like do what we want. I feel like that would be so fun, but it's never gonna happen, so that's unfortunate.
Oh man,
Yeah. Wow, that's water to the face.
I forgot what it was like to be hopeful. I forgot what it was to have no worries.
Oh,
I think we just need to
Alex.
keep you around, Dana, so we remind ourselves what our youth is like. I love it.
Just
I'm
like just a
obsessed.
humbling experience, like from the 20-year-old. I don't know if I'm like a millennial or Gen Z. I've never actually looked at that. I don't know what that means.
Don't worry, just
Oh, that's
Schrodinger's
true.
cat it. Just don't worry about it.
I
I
just see
think
it. I just scroll on TikTok and I see it all the time, and I'm just like, well, what am I? And then I just never bother to look.
And those categories are silly in my opinion. I understand the point of like, oh, well, the generational difference is because of technology and what they've been through and all these kind of great cases of like, historical events like wars and stuff. But we're still very different people. Even with we're all millennials, we still have this
Yeah.
differentiation of ideals and what is supposed to be and all that stuff. What is supposed to be.
I think it's just funny how much weight people put on that though, because like I feel like I was scrolling through TikTok the other day and I saw like a lot like in rapid succession, like Gen Z kids just being like, or like Gen Z and like whatever comes after that. I don't know what it is, but like people who are like 2005 and younger or something, and it's just like them being like, I was born in the wrong generation, and I'm just like, dude, calm down. It's you can like what you want. It doesn't mean anything.
I don't think that'll ever get out of it. I mean, we're always like, I've have people like that in my timeline of like youth. They're like, man, I wish it was in the 80s or 70s and so on and so forth. So I think
It's always just funny,
yeah, I think that
honestly.
trope's gonna just forever be there.
Probably.
look, all I'm
Oh
saying
my god, you're that kid, aren't
as
you?
the grandma of this,
Shut
not
up.
that necessarily, but there's a big societal shift, right? In like the way that everybody thinks, and there is a break in, okay, we've now noticed that there's a next step in the generation. And not necessarily that like it's as drastic as like being baby boomers and like Gen X, like right, the real old people, like my parents.
The
There's a
real
big
old people.
Yeah, Alex is not real old, even
I'm
though she
not
just
real
called.
old, but like my dad still says racist shit, but he's aware of the shit that he's saying most of the time. But about 33% of the time, he says something and you're like, oof, what did you just say? And like, just the blatant awareness that sometimes he is, and then the like, I'm not, I'm right, I'm not there. But then we can take a big jump to millennials, right? Not that I'm putting you down, Dana, at all. I
Mhm.
appreciate the future you and how you're going to take care of me at one point. Um,
Hopefully.
but there was a time, and I know we harp on 9/11 a lot, I know, but it changed everything so fundamentally that I remember a time when my mom and dad could go with me to the like airport terminal, and like you just sort of went through security and you didn't necessarily need to be like cavity checked, and like yes, there was still racism. Yes, there was stuff like that, but it was, big things like that. And then like graduating during a time when there are no jobs, and the people who are getting the jobs are people who are overqualified, which means then I go back to school and I become overqualified, and then I can't get the jobs because I'm overqualified. And then like having that mentality of like, okay, here's another fucking thing of history that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
I know I talked to my husband the other day and said, like, I'm tired of living through history.
Oh my
I
god, yeah, no, there were lots of people just like, I'm tired of living historical events every goddamn day just on
every
Twitter,
day. And
like
it's
for
true, it's
real.
hard. Like once I realized the world around me, it's just been knockout, drag out every time you turn, right? Um,
Mhm.
and it not that I think we should put a lot of stock into generational things, but there is a level of like camaraderie of like people your own age. And what is really great about newer generations is that they're a lot more open, and they're a lot more like, who the fuck cares, love who you want, be who you be. and we
For sure.
love it and we stand it. And honestly, there are a lot of people who, obviously care about that, but it tends to be it tends to be like you, Dana, at this lovely ripe age of 20, born in 2000. Like, you had a
2001.
2 at the beginning of your birth year, right? There's a 2, and like
There is
that
a 2.
yeah, that makes me sick, honestly. And it's not anything that you have. It's just like, oh my god, like there's a 2 at the at your, like, when there was a 2 changed when I was like going into middle school. So like I was old enough to realize that we had changed the first digit.
Wow. How was Y2K? Was that
It was
really that?
Y2K.
Yeah, well, did I mean, I was born then. I just didn't understand anything. I was 6. It was like people were like, "Dude, all the computers are gonna break because the carrying the one's gonna be too great for them." Like that was a big thing in tech. I'm like, this is
It
crazy.
was. I remember friends of mine like stocking up water, like their family stocked up water. My dad was an engineer and worked with computers, so he was like, "It's fine, you guys are fine." But I had a lot of other friends who just they had like stockpiles of shit.
Nice.
Why?
But because everything we felt then, like everything was controlled by computers, which
It's
that's
now still.
super fucking funny now. We could all,
yeah.
yeah.
It was so weird because like what we thought that back then was control or like the power of technology is now just so much greater.
You have a freaking
Yeah.
supercomputer in your pocket, just like handheld there, and it's cool. Like it's rad. Like all of it's totally rad. I'm there for it. But yeah, those Gen Z TikTokers, for real.
Oh my god. I had there was one TikTok that I had that got some attention from people because they were annoyed by it. I did a TikTok where I was just literally like addressing all the underage people on TikTok that like got famous by being provocative, basically. And I was like, "Where are your parents? I'm Chris Hansen from Dateline NBC." And apparently that made some people mad because they were like, "But I love Charlie D'Amelio. Why do you have a problem with Charlie D'Amelio?" And I was like, "I don't have a problem with Charlie D'Amelio. I have a problem with her parents." Like,
oh boy.
like I don't know. Like I have the time. Like TikTok's really funny. Like it's like the new Vine, it's really cool. Love being on there. But then every now and again, something will slip in there that like makes me realize how much I hate the app because it's making a bunch of people famous overnight for doing nothing. And then it's like, oh no. Like I feel like that's what TikTok is to me right now.
I feel like it's for every. Go ahead, Alex.
No, I was gonna say that was YouTube for us.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like at the very beginning, it was like cinnamon challenge and the gallon challenge and all these other things, and it's just like people.
Oh, I remember the cinnamon challenge. That was insane.
Yeah, like and people were just doing it just to get not. It wasn't called clout back then. I don't know what we used to call it.
I've never used that word, and I refuse to use that word.
Well, good on you. I'm just trying to keep up with the times.
I hate that word. It makes me so mad for some reason. I just don't like it.
It's just so it's bizarre that what you're saying because like I remember a time before YouTube and I remember the site that I was using like oh you can't have this much megabytes into this thing so I uploaded like very shitty quality videos to this site. I don't even know what it was called anymore and I used to what's called make those how the YouTubers now just make videos of on the games. That's what I used to do, but I didn't never had YouTube and I never had it was just bizarre that all this stuff that I had back then and was trying to get famous for other people got famous for. I'm like, oh, I just should have tried harder. But I think it's
I feel like the timing probably if you adjusted the timing a little bit and like posted the video strategically you would have been like hella famous.
Hopefully. It was a bunch of silly shit, but I needed a better quality import. But that was back then, and now I'm here doing other stuff.
Those the olden times before HD.
Oh, God.
The olden times. You guys make me sound so young. Oh, my God.
Oh, it's not...
I mean, that's a long time. Like, 10 years is a long-ass time.
Yeah,
Um,
no, but I've been on YouTube since like day one. Like I still love that platform. Like I could spend hours on YouTube.
yeah, I mean, yes, I'm an avid, but I would almost bet, even though we both love Dungeons and Dragons, I would bet that my YouTube searches are far weirder. Old people.
What?
I have like CNN come up on my fucking YouTube. Like For You is just like news channel and fucking Ask a Mortician because hashtag death positivity. But whatever.
I have like I have a Daily Show come up on mine. Seth Meyers comes up on mine. I have YouTubers like Danny Gonzalez. Oh my god, I love that man. Curtis Connor. There's like these YouTube like commentary YouTubers that are just really hilarious and they make really funny videos that I like to watch. I know they're really good. Me and my friends just love to get together and like watch their videos. It's really good. It's a good time. I would recommend 10 out of 10.
I
I
watch a
love
lot of
that.
cringe stuff, so I'm not gonna say anything.
What's the cringiest, Adrian? What's the cringiest?
Just give us one.
It's I used to be really into Filthy Frank, so every now and then I watch cold ones, and they're not PC at all.
Okay, hold on. I don't even know what Filthy Frank is, first
Oh
of all.
God, don't look it up, Alex. He's
I won't
now
do it.
he used to be a YouTuber. Now he makes music as Joji, so he's come a long way.
Choji.
Yeah.
God.
Oh, wait.
What?
Okay. Nothing. It's fine.
It's oh, is it fine?
I just feel I deal with second graders, so I'm constantly feeling old. Sometimes we talk about things that happened in history and they're like, "Oh my god, that was so long ago." And you're like, "Hold on, bitch. Like, what?" No. That was like the 1980s is what one of my children said today when we were talking about who we were talking
Please.
about.
Oh, Benjamin
We were
Franklin.
talking about Henry Box Brown, right? Because it's Black History Month.
Mhm.
They were like, "Oh, that's like the 1980s, right?"
Which their connotations making it sound like it's way further, right?
Yeah. Bitch, no, we're talking about the Civil War. Like, hold on.
Ah,
Hold
For
on.
me, times that I feel old, like I guess we all just have these moments where we feel old because right
yeah,
now I feel young as hell, like sitting in this conversation with you guys. But like my cousins, I have like two little cousins. One of them's 8, one of them's like 10,
yeah.
and they like think I'm the oldest person in the world, and it's so weird. Like I don't know what it is, but maybe just having older cousins hits different than like compare like because you have parents, like they have parents and their parents are like 30 and 40, you know what I mean? Like so I don't know why they think I'm the oldest person in the world, but they like would talk to me and they're just like, "Oh my god, Dana, you're so old." And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
It's like that. It's like the parents are like the stationary point in time. They always seem the same, but like this new person that comes into their life as their cousin, just like, whoa, you're the older cousin. Like it does a difference because
Yeah, I am the older cousin in my mom's side of the family, but yeah, my dad's side of the family, I'm one of the younger ones. Yeah, my mom's side of the family, I'm the eldest cousin, which is really weird because I spent a lot of time with my dad's side of the family growing up, and I always felt like such like a pipsqueak in comparison to everyone. But then on the other side, I feel like that's how everyone looks to me now, so it's really weird. It's funny though. I think it's hilarious.
All right.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to
I
go ahead?
No, I'm very curious now because I'm really so with all this priming, I'm super excited to see, a younger eye approach to Dungeons and
I was
Dragons.
about okay, cool. We're all on the same page, Alex. Fucking great. That's why we're
I
close.
know. We should definitely start a podcast
Oh my
together.
god, yes. What should we call it?
I don't know, like Dungeons and Degrees or something like that because we're like,
I
I
feel like that would be a great idea.
oh
I
my
was thinking of
god, thank
And I
alphabets and
think
you.
Reggie work
avocados.
well as co-hosts. So
Oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
yeah.
Let's get into some. How were you brought into the fold, essentially, this of this game?
Okay, so basically, when I was in high school, I was always like the weird kid. Like I was always very singled out when I was in high school and middle school and like just growing up in general. And I had this one friend who was also singled out, but she was like a couple years younger than me. And but we would always hang out like during break times and like lunch and stuff. And we would always be hanging out like outside of school. And we went to Comic-Con in Dubai, which is where I met Max Landis. But while we were there, it was like one of the stalls, one of the tables was for a pop culture store in Dubai, and we got to talking with them and everything, and then we ended up going like a couple weeks later. We ended up going, so that became like our hangout spot. So like every week, and I heard about like some of the people that worked there were talking about like, oh, like D&D, and like some people would come and like book DMs and play, and I was like, we should play. So we ended up playing, and that was like nearly 4 years ago now. And yeah, now I DM 3 games, and I am a PC in one in one campaign.
Local game stores do a lot of heavy lifting, I feel like, for
Yeah.
a lot of our like weird kid lives.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I ended up working there too, so that's when I first dipped my toes into like DMing. I worked there for a couple months, and I would DM every now and again for groups that came in to the store, and like new players particularly. I would run one shots with them, create characters, and that type of stuff.
That's so cool. Okay, so what was your first character? And
My first character? Okay.
mhm.
It's so funny because I like ran into my first DM. He like switched jobs, but when I was visiting my family in Dubai and like I was with my friends, we went to his new place, and it's just like a board game cafe, and he like manages that place, and he literally remembers my character and everything about my character, and I'm just like, dude, that was like 4 years ago. So
That's
it
That's
was really
magic, though.
I
yeah.
You must have
know.
had a really good character.
I
Okay,
would
so
I
how
would
long did
hope
you play
so.
with him?
It was it was a long while. It was like every week until I graduated. And we like went there. We went there when I was like a junior in high school, so like nearly a year probably. Because then I started working there, and then we didn't play as often. But yeah.
What was your character?
Yeah, so my character was an Eladrin sorcerer, and her name was Dauphine Galanodal, and she was a like folk hero, and she was like super intimidating. Like she had to be super intimidating because I'm absolutely not. Like I'm 5'4", 110 pounds. There's nothing intimidating about me. So I was like, she has to be scary.
Nice.
So I made her like super intimidating, like pretty tall. And there was a gnome in our group, and this gnome would just sit on her shoulders the whole time.
That's did they get like advantage in perception or did anything like that?
No, but
Oh
she
well.
sat on the shoulders the whole time. I'm pretty sure I yeeted her at some point in an encounter or something, just threw her.
Sometimes it needs to happen. Sometimes someone
It
needs to be
does.
get in the mix. That's fun. It's been a
Yeah, no, it
while.
was really fun.
It's been a while since I've had a character throw another character. But
Really? Are
yeah,
you a like DM, or are you guys in a campaign or something? What's going on?
I am currently a DM for a. I can't say that right now.
Say it.
Okay, fine. I'm playing a game of Curse of Strahd right now, and that's the only game I played. I started off this quarantine with like 3 or 4 kind of games going all at once, but they kind of all
Mhm.
pittered off at different states. Um,
Right.
Girlfriend breaking up, people kind of falling
Oh
apart,
no.
people not coming back around consistently, and then finally, then there was one, and I've been with that group for almost a year now. I think it's gonna be a year
Hey,
in March, so that's gonna
cool.
be, yeah, it's gonna be great. And that's what I mainly do right now. And Alex, what do you do right now?
I'm currently trying to figure out my life because evidently waking up at 5 o'clock every day takes a toll on your body and lack of wanting to DM anything. Also, when your family is your game, it's very hard to deal with schedules when there are two people
Right.
who work server shifts. So like if it was my dad and I, we would be done. We would play our game at 5. We would be done by 6:30, and then we'd be in bed by like 8. So but my baby sister and her significant other do not have that same schedule. They also have a baby, so that's like
A
a
whole
Oh
thing
thing.
yeah.
too. So honestly, it's been quite some time since we played, and that was my first DM experience. I've played it before. I played it, with a work group, but I haven't played as a DM for very long. I
So you
still
guys
would
are both like fairly new DMs then.
I've
I am.
yeah.
Adrian's not.
I've been playing
Yeah.
since college, or DMing it since
Okay, so you've
college.
DM'd before?
Oh, way before. I first played when I was like
Okay, yeah.
7 with my papa. My papa. And he kicked our asses, and I never came back to it after that. And then I got in college, and me and my friends were like, "Hey, my dad used to play D&D in college. We should try it." And then it was history from there on. I
Yeah,
just
my dad also used to play D&D in college, and when he found out that's what I was doing every week, he was like, "What the heck? Where did you learn about that?" Like he was just like shook at it, like the like how I just like unconsciously follow in his footsteps.
Oh, I didn't even think that's so cute. Like having that moment of like, do you guys play together? Have you played with your dad?
I haven't, but I really want to. He hasn't played in years though. Like the last time he played was when he was in like college. So I told him that I'm gonna make him play one day though. So that's happening.
Awesome.
As an adult child who has a father that I'm playing with, it's very weird. It's a very weird experience just because I know my normal characteristics tend to be very flirty with my PC. I can't imagine me playing a character like that. It would have to be the like very opposite. That like it would have to be like, I don't know, somebody that wasn't like that.
Not
Or someone
not me.
somebody not me. Something not normal that I would play.
Yeah, and I've only played
So what are
once or
your
twice.
like?
Oops, sorry.
Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, I've only played once or twice with my father and brother. It's hard since
Mm.
he works like night shifts and I work. I'm only there whenever I have time off, and now I have a big boy job, and that'll be never again. But yeah, I think
I've tried to get my brother to play, but he's just like, "You're such a nerd. I'm not playing D&D," and I'm just like, "Wow, you have a life? How lame."
that's how I am with my little sister.
No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. That's not what I say to him. It kind of, but not really. He literally just refuses to play because he thinks it's like the nerdiest thing he's ever heard of. He's like, "I'm not playing D&D." I'm just like, "Why? It's so fun." He's like, "No, that's shit for nerds. I'm not doing it."
What? How lame.
I
How
know,
lame.
right?
Throw it out the window.
So lame.
I think it's
Yeah,
Bonding time.
that's how the conversation usually turns out when I try and get him to play with me.
One day you can break down his walls.
One day it'll happen.
Okay.
I just forced him onto this podcast and we play a game of D&D.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. It'll be one of our one shots.
Yeah, we'll get him.
We'll
Do you
get
ever
'em.
do like one shots on your podcast? I feel like that would be kind of gas, actually.
Yeah. I just need to edit them right now. It's
Oh,
So
you have
as a Patreon
she's gonna
Patreon
drop our Patreon.
sponsor. Oh yeah, I'm gonna drop that Patreon.
Gotcha.
That sweet mid
Mid
shameless
combo.
plug incoming. Go for it.
Yeah. As a Patreon subscriber, you get access to one shots that Adrian will run, and you get to play with me and maybe Skylar, our reoccurring guest,
Well, he's a patron too.
and your Patreon friends.
Yeah. Hosted every month. And
That'd be cool.
I'm still behind a month, so I need to get those games going.
So, what do you normally like homebrew one shots, or do you like what do you do for them?
I take it like I give the players kind of a choice. I've done some homebrew stuff. The thing with my
Mhm.
homebrew one shots are they just don't become one shots because I put too much into them. Because every time I think, I'm like, oh, I could put this, I could do this, I can do that, and it just hasn't clicked. Like, hey, you need to tone it down a little. Maybe like four or
It turns
five.
into a full campaign that's gonna last like at least 6 sessions.
Exactly. Like I think I can do this in 2 or 3, but perfecting the one shot hasn't been my forte. I'm slowly
See,
working on it though.
here's what I generally do, and I think I've just learned to do this with
Hmm.
time and with my campaigns too, like whenever we do a session. Just like you get like plot points or like one or two plot hooks and then you improv from there. And it's really hard to nail it, but once you do, it's like people think you're prepared. You know how rarely I'm prepared for sessions now?
I have no idea. I just met you.
Very rare. I like will plan out like the plot hooks from the very beginning, like when I first create the campaign or the one shots. And then when we get down to it, I just improv 90% of it,
Hmm.
depending on how much like I want to share with the players in that certain session. You know how many times I've had to come up with like a random encounter just because the players are getting restless and they want to hit something?
All the time.
Oh my god, all the time. Just scribble down stats. Just roll initiative, the whole thing.
Yeah, just they're a little bit good in these two like stats, and the rest are just tens or eights or something. Just something like that makes sense depending on the level of play you're at. I also think you
Yeah,
have some
yes.
good experience from actually like being in a game shop and interacting with a whole bunch of different types of players, and
Hmm.
making those one shots. Like I think that experience is amazing. I mean, something that I wish I had, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, it was really fun too. But actually, I have this one of my friends is a new DM, and he was asking me, he was like, how do you like adjust an encounter like based on the level of the PCs? And I'm just like, you want to know my biggest secret about DMing? I have like sometimes I have stat blocks like pre-written, pre-prepared, ready for the session. But then, like, if I notice that it's too easy or too hard, I quickly scale down the HP or scale up the HP depending on how fast the initiative is going and how much the PCs are struggling. So that's my biggest secret is I mess with the stats as they're playing the encounter.
Gotcha. Does it
That's what I
feel?
do at least.
Yeah. Has anyone found out, or and they're like, "That's
No.
yeah."
No. Except for my one player who became a new DM and I like told him. I was like, yeah, that you just gotta do that. He's like, that's actually genius, and I'm gonna do it. And I'm pretty sure he's doing it.
See, I was always afraid that scaling up and down some stuff. Like I think I've only done that this last session with my players because like
Mm.
I like kind of homebrew this monster, and it was kind of based on a pre-existing but monster, but it kind of I try to make it somewhat Hydra-ish. So I scaled some HP up.
Mhm.
They were slaughtering it so easily. I'm like, okay, well, how do I justify it having more HP than it does? Well, I'm gonna give it like some sort of like it was this giant like tree thing. So I like all these
Mhm.
dead plant things that they killed earlier. He kind of like sucked it up during, or he kind of like got his roots. And the players can't see
Mhm.
this, but but it's just me. I'm like, this makes sense to me, so it's okay if I scale his health up. But he started like draining life from the bodies around him, and he gained health and he looked a little bit beefier, and he starts to split off into the three trees that he was supposed to be originally before I
Mhm.
homebrewed it. So I did that on the fly. So I've only recently been starting to mess with the things, mess with the stats while in play, because usually I'm like, I feel bad if I don't if I like fudge something, you know. But I don't know. I've been really soft on my
Yeah.
players.
See, the thing is, like, I feel like it depends. Like, I don't sometimes because, especially, like, I don't really feel bad about like changing stats and stuff in the middle of an encounter because my players have been wanting to hit something for a while and they finally get the chance to hit something. And if it's too easy, they're going to be disappointed.
Hmm.
So I just scale it up because it's so much easier than like creating a whole second encounter, like, right after that, like, it makes it easier, especially for one. I have one campaign that I homebrewed. It's like a mage academy, and everyone's super squishy, of course, because it's a mage academy. But like they are like level 5 right now, so they have some incredible spells, especially like evocation wizards in our group. They have amazing spells. They've got fireball. That's all
Hmm.
you need, really.
Yeah.
But like I left the abilities the same, but I scaled up the HP because they were really destroying it, and I was like, okay, yeah, I should have thought ahead for this, but we fixed it. We got it. And yeah, I mean, it worked out. Like, they had a good time and everything, but it's just like, I feel like it's hard because you need to scale up and either fix abilities or keep abilities the same. I kept abilities the same because they were already pretty strong. And like they were like we had one person in the party passed out entirely. So I thought the abilities were fine. I thought it was just the HP that was a bit low because they were like ready to destroy it in like 2 rounds of initiative. And I was like, okay, yep. Gotcha.
Hearing that someone kind of alters on the fly makes me feel a little bit more comfortable about how I go about things. So I'm glad I'm hearing this kind of stuff.
Okay, I'm glad. No, yeah, I alter a lot of things on the fly. Like I feel like I shouldn't and like should be more like I should have a better plan in place, but like I kind of just like have plot points, plot hooks, and then I connect between those plot hooks during the session. Because the thing that I've realized is I feel like I don't plan enough, but then when I do plan, it just goes to shit because the players do whatever they want anyway.
Hmm.
So like they just have their own agency, and like you can't do anything about that. Like it's gonna fuck with your plans whether you like it or not. So like I feel like it's just easier to like have plot points and have them go like explore this world and then try and circle them back to the next hook or the next plot point, because if you like I feel like if you have a more set plan, it's going to go south.
Hmm. What is your favorite DM moment?
In terms of like what my players have done or when I've just been like I am a god. Like
Either
First
or.
one, then the other.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, so the first okay, let's see, let me think. I've had a lot of really good moments with my players because they're just there. There have been so many moments where they just literally like broke me in terms of like I just keep laughing and I just can't breathe. The first one was the first one of the first campaigns that I started running when I was in college. So like last year, it's been going for nearly a year now. I think this is the first moment that I really can remember of where I just like broke down like laughing in tears. There was one time where they were planning on like joining the royal guard and they were like doing stuff like they were part of like militia and they were trying to like protect the kingdom from these cultists, and they have a side quest where there's like an illegal gambling ring happening in the basement of like a tavern that nobody goes to. They go, and instead of calling the actual royal guard to come arrest them, since we have a bounty hunter in our party and a paladin who's oath of conquest in our party, they cast silence on the room, and then our paladin walked around with a napkin on it, said, we're robbing you, put all your shit in this bag. And he walked around the room with this napkin, showing it to everyone in this illegal gambling ring and holding a bag. And it's like you didn't like I couldn't stop laughing when that happened. Like it was just so funny.
That's amazing.
It was so funny and it was so weird, and I was like, what the heck is wrong with you guys? Like they cast silence. They told everybody to stay where they were. They walked around with this napkin. Our paladin, this man didn't take off his helmet the entire duration of the game. Nobody has ever seen his face in the party, and he's like the toughest, like strong, silent type, walked around with this napkin, showing it to everyone and asking them to put their shit in the bag. No, obviously nobody took them seriously because you look stupid walking around with a napkin.
Yeah.
But like I don't know what they did after that, but like long story short, they had like a whole thing. They like somehow like made a hole in the wall and like called the royal guard and still made off with some of the people's shit. So that was interesting. I was like, I don't know how you managed that, but okay.
Those are some pretty good checks. Like honestly, I would only assume that there were good checks there.
Yeah. One of my other favorite things is one of my players, he's a rogue. He wanted to be a Goliath, and he got mad at me because I capped his height at like 6'2". And I was like, you're not about to be 7'8" trying to bonus action hide here. Like it's not happening. There was that. And I think maybe one of my favorite DM moments, like God moments, I think. Let me think. Because there's like, I don't know if there's a lot. I think most of it is just like my players breaking me, but I'm sure I can think of something. I think maybe one of my favorite DM moments was like convincing the people that I'm with in student government to play D&D, even though they were all like, "Oh, I'm too cool for D&D," and now they're in a permanent campaign that I run.
Yes, you got the jocks to go play D&D.
They're not even jocks. They just like we're just too good for D&D. Like, you know, like frat boys, like frat boys, and they're just like, you know, these internships, and like they fully made like serious characters. Like I made them make serious characters and like actually play in this campaign, and now they're in there permanently, which is really funny. Because they were like, we'll just try it, but like I don't think we'll like it. Everyone was like at the end of the session was like, are we having a second session?
Got him. Fucking got
Got
him.
I was like, I am a god. Hell yeah.
That's always such a good feeling.
Yeah, because I'm just like, y'all were telling me like you guys lied to yourselves, first of all. Second of all, I think I'm just like it makes you feel good as like a storyteller because
Mhm.
people are just like, well, we thought this was lame. It's not. Can we do it again?
Yeah, exactly. I
You
have
know.
I have that all back in Lubbock, and I haven't been back, so I understand that. Like,
You were just back.
no, like playing back in Lubbock.
Okay.
Like, I got
Okay.
12 of my coworkers to play D&D, and they had never, like, all first timers. I'm like, I just like, yeah, you never played? Okay, we can do one thing. We can try it again. They're like, oh, we're gonna play again. We're gonna play again. It's that nerd shit, isn't it? I'm
Look,
like, yeah, it's the nerd shit. I love this nerd shit. Let's play this nerd shit.
Let's play
I
this
think
nation.
Dana's pool was better than your coworker pool, though.
I
I
don't know.
mean,
I don't
she
know.
got
I
no, she
pulled the
got
frat boy.
business students,
I pulled the frat boy, business students, poli sci
business
students.
bros.
No, we have like people like the people that are in our group. We've got three guys, one of which is Russian because he's a freshman right now, but the other two are in frats, and they're in student government, they're senators, and one of them is like going to all these business meetings and internships and all this stuff, and he's like, I'm a stats minor, and I'm like I don't remember his major, it's like poli-sci or something, and then we have a business major and like a Spanish minor or something. I don't know their majors and minors, but there's like something that's like just, you know, the whitest thing ever. And they're just like they were like telling me before that they're just like, oh, like D&D is like not really our thing, like I've never played before, but like I don't think I would like it. And now they're all like, when are we playing again, which I love.
So here's how we get the like more business bros, right? We just we pretend like it's a Toastmasters, but like a Toastmasters team building exercise, and I think that's the way we trap them. I think that's how we get it.
I think the way we trap them is probably calling it Dungeons and Drinking. I bet you everyone would show up then.
Make it
The
an
drinking
event.
would be a good one.
Yeah, I feel like that. I don't drink personally, but Dungeons and Drinking for the frat boys, I feel like that would get them to show.
What's a Toastmasters?
So Toastmasters, which it's not just a me thing, like it's legitimately a business organization or like a public speaking organization. So Toastmasters is an organization where you give speeches and like you practice public speaking, but it tends to be a little more elite. It tends to be pretty broy.
Ah,
It's like a marketing, like a personal marketing, personal speaking thing.
okay, so I have a question. What's like the weirdest names for new players that you've ever heard, like characters?
Google it through. Easy.
Love that. What about you?
My dad has a bard named Larry Scalafani. He's a
Nice.
dwarf bard,
Mm-hmm.
and so there we are.
I have in my student government one, the campaign that I'm running for them, I have one. They're just like every single one of them, without consulting each other, just named their character like a play on their own name. We have Rory, who named his character Rorathan. and then there's Amber, who named her character Amber Moira, and then there's Arya, who spells it Aarya, and then spelt it in D&D Aria. And then we have, who else? Armon, who named himself Armoniman. So like there's just these people, they just, every single one of them was like my name. Except we have one character who didn't do that, and she named herself after toast, like the bread. Her first name is Toast, her last name is Grainy.
I love that.
The youth.
The youth.
It's
I think that's just, I don't think that's specifically youth. I think that's specifically people who have never played D&D.
I've had, so I think one of my friends, he's made so many characters at this point, he's given up looking up names. He's been just doing US presidents. So the last one was Lyndon B. Johnson. But just saying the word Lyndon doesn't sound like, it sounds pretty out there. I haven't heard of Lyndon in a while other than Lyndon B. Johnson. So to me, when I first,
I think the Lyndon that I know besides that is her name Sarah Lyndon from The Killing TV show.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think that's the only one I know. But yeah, no, so there's that. What else? Oh yeah, I feel like I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like comparing like new players to like veteran players in D&D, and like how some people, they're always like, oh, mine is like a gnome who's a bard who has this sick backstory, who's like incredible, and he has all these cool weapons. And then like veteran players are just like, my new character is a piece of bread that carries itself with a mage hand.
You're right.
Like honestly, that's gonna be my next character, maybe. I am forever DM though, so who knows whenever I'm gonna get to play piece of bread that carries itself with a mage hand.
Yep. It's tough to find a DM, and even if you do find one, it's hard to find a reliable party alongside it.
Yeah, I think my players seriously, like, they got lucky. It's interesting because you think on like a campus where I'm at, like it's pretty small. There's not that many people, but like we've got, I think the entire campus, including graduate population, is like 7,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And my players came to me as a group and were just like, will you DM for us? And I was like, interesting. Because I've never, like, usually I've had like a person come and be like, hey, like, do you have any groups I can join or something like that? Because we have a D&D club, so I'm in the group chat, and people know I'm like a DM, so people will come and be like, do you have any groups I can join? I'm just like, no. But then like a whole group was like, will you like run a campaign for us? So I feel like they were smart in that they gathered the party before they went and got the DM. So they also like came at an impeccable time because I wasn't DMing for anyone at that point. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like timing is always really weird in general. Like I think even now, like I do my two main campaigns that I run, like the Mage Academy one and the one that I've been doing for like a year, the one that had the napkin story.
Yeah.
Like I run one of them every other week because one weekend it's like this one, the other weekend it's this one. And because I end up DMing like twice or three times over the weekend.
So every other week you kind of alternate, and then sometimes it lines up.
Yeah, I mean, I just tell people mainly to like keep their one of the days on the weekend, like either like Friday, Saturday, or Sunday free, just so that we can all meet on one of those days. The reason I alternate between the two, because like I can DM for two groups in a day. In 2 days, like I've done that before, when I was working at the store, but I have overlap between the players. So there's 3 players in both of those campaigns, and then the others are like different people. But so I'm not the only person who would like get tired of playing D&D. They would as well. So we kind of alternate because I don't want to make these like 3 people sit in my D&D games, especially because one of those is the new DM who was like taking my advice about like stats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like people are like, they're kind of busy. They get tired. They feel like 2 days of D&D might be too much, especially if we play for like 2 to 3 hours. So
never mind that like school exists and stuff like that.
It does exist. I forgot about that.
Never. That's okay. That's amazing that you have that time. Okay. So then along with all of this, right, you have these D&D games and then you're going to class, and let's talk about how the fuck you managed to manage your time to write a book on top of all of this. Like what how did you stay motivated? What did you do? Just in general.
Okay, so I spent like a year every day just writing, editing, and all this stuff. When I this was last year. So basically, what happened is I think the motivation. This is gonna sound really weird, but like basically, there was a program at my university like before COVID hit and all this stuff, and it was like you wrote like 20 people what like based on we would apply and like 20 people would be picked, and we would sit in the library for like 8 hours and we would write something and that would be published. So I wrote a short story. And I don't know if it's like considered a short story still because it was like 50 pages, but they published it and it came out and I was like really excited because so more like context about like why I became an author and stuff is because I was, like bullied a lot when I was growing up, like middle school, high school. I don't know if fifth grade is like elementary, isn't it, or something? I don't know.
It's like a
But
transitional period.
yeah, starting from then onwards, it was really hard. I didn't really have any friends. And I was always reading, and like reading, I feel like saved my life because I was suicidal at a very young age. And I feel like looking back now because of my OSDD trying to protect me, basically a lot of my memories are a blur. But I had that, and it was just kind of tough in general. Like I feel like I was a very lonely child, very reserved and quiet, and I barely spoke. So I read a lot, and that was like my escape. That was where you could find me. I read a lot of the books in the library at like the two schools that I went to, and I was like, I want to become a writer because I felt like this had a huge impact on me, and I wanted to have that kind of impact on somebody else. Just because I felt like, reading saved my life. Maybe I can do that for somebody else. So I've been wanting to do that for like 11 years. So when this opportunity came up, I was like, I'm not turning it down. Like I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna write this. It's gonna get published with all these other writers. So that got published, and then I made a video about it on TikTok, and that video went viral. It got like more than 100,000 views, and then all of a sudden people were like reading it and they were just like, I really liked it. Like, I want to read a longer version. Like, I want you to write a novel, the same story. Like, so I had people in my comments, in my DMs being like, we need to know what happens like in a proper book. So I wrote a book because I felt like motivated. I was like, I feel like one of the biggest fears you have as like an author is that people won't read it. So I was like, people are going to read it clearly. So I felt like that helped motivate me because I knew people were waiting for this. And I feel like that pushed me a lot to start writing. And over the summer I started my podcast and that got a decent amount of listeners. And then I was able to get in contact with my friend Max, and he was telling me, he was giving me encouragement too, and being like, yeah, because he had written a few books as well and like screenplays and stuff. So he was like, I think you just gotta like do it. And I was like, that wasn't very helpful. But now looking back, I'm just like, yeah, he was 100% right. You really just have to go for it. Like full send,
Yes. Another word.
Yeah, I also just have like a lot of trouble sleeping. I've had lots of trouble sleeping even before, and I tried to like take the nights to like relax because every free second I had, I would spend it writing or editing or doing something, but I couldn't do it. Like I felt like I was supposed to be doing something. And I felt like it like is not the time to relax. So I was always on top of it for that whole year.
I think that's really motivational, and definitely people like George R.R. Martin who haven't finished their fucking series, they need to like listen. Because look, there's no reason why. And I think that's magic that you have that like sense of you can make a change, and look, you can do it, and you did it. And that's amazing. Like I hope you do feel amazing because that's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel good about it. I still feel like the one thing I wish I could have gotten was like an actual publisher instead of having to self-publish it myself, because like I can't do everything alone. Like, there's the marketing, there's the editing, there's like making the cover art and all this stuff like that. I was a one-man show basically. I did every single thing. And like I'm still not done with the marketing. I've barely done any marketing, which I need to do, but I've been slacking on that front a little bit because I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. So I feel like the one thing that I would have liked is to have a publisher like do that for me so that I didn't have to worry about it. But like at the same time, I don't know if they would have like changed my story around to fit a certain audience, which I wouldn't have really wanted because I wanted everything I wrote to stay in there.
Mm-hmm.
So like I guess like I don't know, it's like you got the pros and cons, you know. I don't know. Try my best.
Yeah. I mean, you're learning, you're figuring this out on your own, and maybe on the next one, you'll find that, or you'll keep doing what you're doing because you don't want your creation, your image of what you're creating to change.
Yeah.
So, you've got time. You've...
Yeah. I don't know, whenever people always like look at me and they're just like, you write so much, I always like think back to the Alexander Hamilton, the song in Hamilton. Was it the one like, why do you write like you're running out of time? That one? I'm always just like, that's me.
Oh no, it's not you. It's not you. That doesn't end up good for him.
Yeah. I'm not exactly Hamilton at all, but I just think I relate to the song a little bit because I felt like I was doing that as well. Like my friend Devonte, my best friend who does my podcast with me, he lives right next door to me actually, which was really funny. But he always like whenever I was writing, he'd play that song and he'd be like, "You seriously need to just relax," and I'm just like, I can't.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's fucking hard to relax, especially when someone tells you to relax.
Oh my god, yeah. Like I always felt like because my friends knew that like I was still making time to DM for them when I was writing and like doing work and all this like and like assignments and all that. Like they would always just tell me like you really need to just like take a deep breath, like watch some TV, do something. But whenever I would watch TV, I feel like TV is taking my attention away from my book.
Oh,
And I like have to go back to it.
man.
Yeah.
You're highly motivated, dear Lord.
I think I'm just hyper. I don't know if those are mutually exclusive. Probably
True.
not.
Look, all creativity takes some sort of momentum to either get started or keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it's one of those areas where you feel like if you do stop, then your creativity stops, right? That's one thing that,
I feel like
think all
yeah, I think I relate to that, especially because I felt like I have so many things I need to get out, like I can't stop now, you know?
yeah. Like that's how I think that's the one plague about all creative minds is that if I stop, I can't do it, I die.
Yikes.
I mean,
It's true.
Adrian can't relate.
It's true. It's still a yikes.
Big yikes.
well, I know for me, like any sort of working on anything and not finishing its completion honestly means that it gets stuck in something and it's not it takes forever to finish at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like you had a good balance of like I was still doing fun things. Like your fun downtime was playing Dungeons and Dragons. And
Yeah.
although for some people that doesn't look like it would be fun downtime because you're thinking creatively and you're coming up with these beautiful story arcs and you're still organizing other people, which is sometimes like just chasing cats and trying to herd them into a pen, it was something that you still relax. So I mean, I would assume at least some level you weren't completely stressed out and
No.
running yourself ragged. But your downtime looks different than other people's downtime, and that's what's great about humans is that not all humans are alike.
Yeah. I think the weirdest thing that like has happened like as I've been writing and as I've been like online stuff is that I get like weird amounts of attention online. Like there's a whole like wiki page somewhere that knows more about me than I know about myself, and it's really weird. Like I think that's been like the weirdest thing as like being a published writer and like doing all this stuff online, like, so like I don't know. Like sorry, I was just thinking about that. That might be so random, but
No, I think that makes sense. At some point if your career advances and you become a writer, then really like any other celebrity or historical person, your life sort of gets extra documented, and it's an easier time to find a lot of things about you, which I think on some level is super creepy. Like, honestly,
Bless you.
how excited would Alexander Hamilton be if he knew that there was a whole show
Oh,
sort of
I
semi
mean,
dedicated to
Mills
him?
was a narcissist, so probably really
Yeah,
excited.
yeah. But really, also, is it really about Alexander Hamilton? Like, he dies and then we get this beautiful ending that isn't and has nothing to do with him. So
See, I don't know if that's because I feel like he might be I don't know, because they really painted, like, Lin-Manuel Miranda really painted Alexander Hamilton as an immigrant who, like, started from the bottom, you know, and I'm just like, dude, he did none of that.
yeah. So
But
I don't know. Maybe he wouldn't like his picture.
maybe he wouldn't like it.
But I think that's the strangest thing. I think David Tennant has a podcast, which is called David Tennant Does a Podcast. And he talks to different other celebrity friends, and they tend the first 2 episodes I listened to, they're other British people, so I think Brits are just generally different and weird, especially when it comes to fame and fortune. But it's that same like sort of idea of like, I don't know what to do because I'm still like a normal human being, but people know about me, people come talk to me, and it's just that like weird, invasive, we know a lot more about you than you know about us. And I could absolutely see where that existence would be troubling. And I probably, if I were famous, I'd probably be a shut-in. Honestly, probably be a shut-in.
Just turn into corpse husband, just not
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah. I would have everything delivered. I would never leave my house, and I wouldn't live anywhere where anyone could see me. I live in like the middle of nowhere.
See, for me, I feel like I'm not like like I'm not really like famous, you know, but like I feel like I just have enough of a following to where like people are noticing.
Yeah.
But then there's also like some people that just listen to every single episode of my podcast, take down every single date of like announcement or whatever that I ever say, and then put it online. You know, so like there's, I feel like the majority of the people that follow me are just like chill, and they just, I don't know, think my content's cool or something, I don't know. But like there's also like the few that are just like, I love you, and I'm just like,
Oh.
you don't know me, but okay.
Thinking about my adolescence, absolutely. I can think of like at least one artist that I have been following since deviant art was a thing. And like from everything that she's posted, there was fan fiction because she did a lot of art with Alice and the Mad Hatter, and it just blew up into these like ridiculous things. But I think if she didn't exist, I think I would have had a harder time in like high school, because I could have that escapism. And I mean, I'm probably never going to meet her. She's not super uber famous. I mean, she's got a big following, but it's like Disney kids, and you know how Disney kids are. They all follow the same 7 people.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're making a big impact on other people's lives and doing exactly what you probably want to do, right? You're probably saving somebody's life, whether you know it or not. And, you know, people are weird and obsessive and want to be the person who gets all your shit and is the one like, oh, I kept track of it because I love her. But like, that's cool. You're doing the very thing that you want to be doing on some level,
Yeah,
regardless of the
I hope
creepiness.
so. I hope so.
Yeah, we're doing it.
What is it?
Oh no, you know, we're doing the thing that we're doing right now, whether we like it or not. We can be helpful or not helpful, but you know, we're still making an attempt, and that's, I think, what's important.
There was an attempt.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I mean,
my mind immediately went to the subreddit.
Heard.
There was an attempt.
No, I mean, that's important because a lot of people don't make that attempt. A lot of people have that book that live in their head. They have that campaign that lives in their brain, and they're constantly adding to it and changing it. And there may be a campaign in your head, and like, you just got to do it. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can be editing it up until it's due. Bitch, you got this.
Yeah, everyone's got this. I think the hardest thing is finding that motivator. I feel like for me, my motivator was I'm partial to proving people wrong. And I feel like lots of people like really underestimated me growing up, or like told me that I wasn't good enough, or that I wasn't important, or that I was a loser, and like really stepped all over me, shattered my self-esteem. And the one thing, like, I, even as a suicidal teenager, was just like, I'm gonna prove y'all wrong one day. So I feel like that's a lot of where my drive comes from, because that was like 8 years of bullshit. That's like not, I'm not just gonna be able to erase. And there's some stuff that happened like besides that, like outside of school, that really impacted me growing up too. That also shattered my self-esteem. But I feel like I'm trying to build it back up, and I'm trying to make sure that everybody knows that they were wrong about me, even if they never like see me, doing something cool, or like they never read my book, or they never find out that I wrote it. I know that they were wrong.
That's like a big, I hope you know how big of a step that is. Like, that's some shit that people take their whole lives to get over. And unfortunately, it's a huge factor nowadays, since you don't just go to school and you get bullied. It can follow you. And especially if you have any just inner turmoil of yourself, and especially being suicidal, like that shit's hard. And usually it's just people who, not just, it's usually with people who feel very deeply, and then you're met with resistance from your peers and maybe your loved ones, but hopefully not your loved ones, because that doesn't sound like they're very loving. But if nobody else tells you, and I don't know what this would mean to your life, but I hope you are so proud of yourself, because I'm proud, like, listening to you. That's so great. And I'm not being sarcastic. If it comes across sarcastic, it's just the way my voice sounds.
I
But
didn't think so, but I appreciate you clearing that up.
but you're amazing. And I really do hope that, we see the creepy Wikipedia blogs forever.
Oh my god, no. If I ever get back on this podcast, we're going to read this creepy Wikipedia blog that somebody made of me.
Hell yes. Hell yes. I'm here for it.
It'll be our joint when we also get a Wikipedia entry. We'll come back and we'll just read everything we both got, and we'll just
Oh my
share.
god. I
We'll
don't
read
want
everything on. Just take turns reading out our weird blogs.
I'm
The-
gonna quit oversharing then, if that's the ultimate that could happen.
It could.
I mean, no, see, here's the thing though. The thing about oversharing, I feel like I think that too. I'm just like, oh, because like I got in trouble. Okay, this is gonna be really weird, but I'm gonna try to avoid as many details as possible. But I get in trouble with some people because I was quote unquote airing out my dirty laundry on my podcast, because I was being very open about my disorder and my mental health, and speaking openly with my friends and my guests and all this. So I genuinely think that that's not a problem. It made me want to share more, because I feel like there's still so many people that think it's wrong to do that, but really what you're talking about could be very helpful to somebody else. I know it was for me. The reason that I even thought that I could have OSD is because I watched a lot of Dissociated, their YouTube channel, DID system, and I just related to a lot of things that they were saying. And like literally like a few months later, like nearly a year after I started watching their videos, I got clinically diagnosed, and I was like, damn, wow, I really didn't know, Like, so I always feel like even if people make creepy Wikipedia blogs about you because of how much you share, I feel like it's still important to do so, because there's lots of people that need it, who are living with people who don't think that mental health exists. So
I literally don't understand people who don't do that, like who don't understand that other people's existence are different, and it's important to talk about that.
yeah,
It's especially, I've had students with DID, and you're like, okay, but you're fine. Like, I love you and you're great. But the amount of, maybe there's family who doesn't believe you, and like people
yeah,
who don't believe in mental health, and making sure that you're seeing doctors and clinicians that can potentially help you. You need to get those people out of your life. I'm sorry. You need to find people who love you and who
I
honestly
agree.
want you to take care of yourself. There's
Yeah,
my
no,
hot
I
take for
agree.
today.
That's not. I don't know if that's a hot take because I'm in agreement. I agree with that. I just think that I don't think it matters who those people are to you. I think they could be blood related to you or they could be your friends. But if they don't support you and they call you talking openly about your disorder, quote unquote, airing your dirty laundry, I feel like that they're not relevant. Like you shouldn't let them affect you so terribly.
Yeah, girl, you keep talking. You keep talking about that mental health. You're changing somebody's life.
I hope so. Oh God.
You're talking to that middle school, high school baby you.
Yeah. I mean, some days it's hard. Some days I wish I could be stronger for my younger self, but I'm already stronger than I was, and I think that's enough for now.
Heck
Oh
yeah.
that's so good. So proud of you.
Are you
Yes,
gonna
keep doing
cry?
it. Yes, bitch. Go. Fly.
Thanks, girl. I'm trying.
Yep, you thought this was going to come from a D&D podcast.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No. Yeah, listen, any podcast I'm on, we have to talk about this stuff because I feel like it's important and I feel like my brain just reconnects everything, even something as fun as D&D back to how my brain works, and my brain works like shit.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. I try.
Have we covered
I want to
all
hear
our
more about
topics?
you guys. I feel like I've been talking to myself the whole time. Yeah, I feel so terrible. I'm
No. That's the point, right?
Yeah.
The people are tired of hearing about us.
Yeah,
they need to
we
hear about
talk
other
about
people.
ourselves all the time.
It's not.
See, I want to know if the people want a one shot question mark. That would be really fun.
Probably. People always want
We probably
one-shot
could.
content.
I feel like that'd be sick. Be kind of gas.
Is that you saying that you want to DM a one shot, or is that saying you want to be a part of a one shot?
Yeah, which one do
either
you want?
one? I feel like either one would be fun. It would be gas.
Ooh. You've been recruited. Welcome.
I've been. No, honestly though, I feel like if people if people are listening to me, I feel like since I've been a DM for 4 years, they would just want me to critique Adrian's DMing, which I will.
I'm down with it.
I feel like that would be fun.
I think Adrian wants you to critique his DMing.
Look, everything can be improved, but also, it's all
No,
perspective.
I'm kidding. I'm sure it'll be really fun if I play with you guys. I feel like that would be really fun.
Heard. We can make this happen, Captain.
Oh my God.
I've never heard that in my life.
What do you mean you've never heard it? I say that all the time.
I've never heard you say that.
I've said it to you, okay? I've said it to other people.
Just like you had a girlfriend who lived in Canada. That we
She
definitely know
did
about.
not live in Canada. She was a student at Tech, and she was an engineer.
I'm just using air quotes every word that you're saying.
Whatever.
Air quotes. Girlfriend.
Next time I'll
Texas Tech.
Look, it doesn't even matter if I brought her there. You would have said you just hired this random girl.
Absolutely. Yo, I'm sorry to Adrian's ex-girlfriend because you definitely don't exist, but
I'm gonna walk away. I'm walking away.
no, I'm just kidding. But yes, especially because summer's coming up, and what the fuck are we gonna do in quarantine?
Exactly.
Nothing.
Also, I'm pretty sure my university is probably going to shut down for 2 weeks because Greek life.
Oh yeah.
Oh, hell yes. We are familiar.
I know. Isn't it like we're educating people around here? They are at fault.
Bro, as I am not anything other than just white and female, you with the male white gaze, just STFO, like STF.
Oh,
you.
okay.
What?
You said you, and I'm like, and then white gaze.
Not
I'm
you.
like,
I was talking about random. You're not white.
My last name's Lawrence.
But you're not white.
No, but I'm whitish.
Oh my
I'm
god.
white-ish. Dude, honestly, I'm white passing too. Like I don't look brown at all. I don't look like I speak fluent Arabic, but TSA manages to pick me up like every time. I don't know how. They
Uh,
just know.
yeah. Well, I'm not white passing. I just no comprende mucho español, and that's why everyone's just looks at me funny. And I have a D&D podcast, and I play D&D, so most like there's very few like prominent colored individuals in the D&D scene. Like I'm starting to see them now that I'm like getting into it.
Yeah.
But before it
See, I
was
feel like
like,
that's
whoa.
with me. Like, because I feel like, yeah, because I mean, when I was working at the store, like there was, Desi people, Chinese people, Filipino people coming in the store all the time. There wasn't that many Arabs coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So like I always, a lot of the time, like the owner of the store was Arab, but like there wasn't lots of Arab people like coming into the store. So like I still felt a bit like the odd one out. But they were really welcoming. So like that feeling went away really quickly. But I didn't have anybody because like they were like some of them would talk amongst themselves and like their languages and like they have like diverse, like different languages that they would speak to each other in, and I kind of was just sitting there like waving. And
I get
they're
that.
so
Oh
really
man,
the regulars.
that's a good conversation. As someone of color and a female in a male-dominated space, I guess you'll have to come back, Dana. Sorry, friend.
I mean,
How
if
terrible.
you guys want to have me back on, I'm down. Like, I'm not gonna say no.
Why does everyone
It's
think
been
Have
fun.
fun
I don't know how much
editing
of this
this,
like side
Adrian.
conversation you want to post, Adrian.
I know
I
I'll
don't know
figure
if
it
you
out.
want- I
I'll
don't
figure
know
it
if you want the bit of me saying that my professor would probably be fine if we had white hoods and burnt crosses outside.
Putting that on the cuts, you know.
Patreon.
It's a Patreon special.
Patreon special.
Yeah. So much content. All right. So we about wrapping this up, or what's going on? I'm so confused.
I think we wrapped up. I think we went on a tangent and then
Yeah, I think a lot of this is probably going to be cut out.
No worries. I'll make it sound good. I mean, that's what I'm here, right? I'm here for the editing.
I believe in you.
I
I very
appreciate
much
that.
believe in you. I do the same thing.
Heard.
The one episode that I've like barely edited is the Max episode, just because 90% of it was just comedy gold. The other parts was just like space that I just took out to make this like conversation flow better. But
Yeah.
that was about it.
All
But
right.
yeah, you guys want to do your outro?
Yeah. Oh, before we do that, we have to ask you something.
Oh no.
Where can the
Okay, I'm
people
scared.
find you? And add. This is your space to like throw your book or whatever.
Plug?
Yeah, your plugs, all that stuff.
Plugging. Okay. You can find me everywhere at the author site, Instagram, Twitter. You should buy my book on Amazon. It's called The Throne of Thorns and Fire. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you for allowing me to plug my stuff.
Of course.
no, this is what this space is for.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
new creatives.
It's for the promotion. It's not for getting to know people.
No, we're just here to promote.
We're just here to promote.
Yeah.
Yep.
It took a little over an hour to get to the actual part of the podcast you've been waiting for. Just everyone just throwing out their shots.
Yep.
That's good.
All right. Well, Alex.
Yeah.
you know what you're supposed to do.
Thank you all so much for listening to another episode. We so love your support. We absolutely thrive. So any listen, we want to thank you so much, especially with Valentine's Day around the corner. Not when this is, being released, but recording time. So we hope, Adrian and I hope you know that we love you and we want you to be the very best. But you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at @TDegreesPod. Follow and subscribe this podcast wherever podcasts are available. Give us 5 stars on iTunes. That will really help us grow, and then we can reach out to more creators and have more interesting and fun conversations. Please be safe and wear a mask. Wash your goddamn hands and quit touching your friends so we can all get out of this together.
I second.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
Go have some fun.